Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to month 4 recap of commercial diving school. In this video, I'm going to be going over what we did in weeks 13, 14, 15, and 16. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and leave any comments or questions for me down below. So let's get started. During week 13, to start it off, we were in the classroom learning about burning and welding underwater. And then we actually started burning topside. So we went out and we actually set up the Broco exothermic burning torch, and we were basically cutting up some metal. And that's actually pretty fun. And if you haven't seen it, I've done a video where I shot a little footage of us doing that. I think it's day 67 if I'm not mistaken. And then next during that week we started underwater burning, and I actually dove on that Tuesday. So I actually got to get suited up and get in the water and started burning on like an old barrel. It was like a metal barrel that previous classes have been burning on, and I just added a couple more holes to it and burned and cut some new cuts on it. And then basically the rest of that week 13 we just burned underwater. So we just kept rotating guys, made sure there was always 2 people like ready to go, ready to hat up and get in the water, so that when the guys that were burning got to get out, we already had people ready, and we had it set up to where 2 people can weld at a time. And what they kind of wanted you to do was like burn like off a little sliver, try to make it like a square and as straight edges as possible if you can. So that was pretty much our goal. And then the Friday of that week, I got to be the standby diver. And then after I was the standby diver, I got to be on comms for everybody. And I was basically running 2 knife switches, which is the open and closed circuit when people are burning, and comms at the same time. So that was pretty cool. And then moving on to week 14, we started underwater welding. So that whole entire week was just our senior class getting our time to weld underwater. And that's, to me, that's the pinnacle of commercial diving school, is underwater welding. That's one of the biggest reasons why everybody goes. That's what everybody wants to hear. And so that was our week. That was our opportunity, our chance to get that done. And I got 2 opportunities to weld underwater. I was pretty lucky that I got to weld both times in the clear tank and the clear tank. And I got GoPro footage of that. I actually got like a 10-minute video where I'm welding for the first time, and then I got like a 5-minute video where I was welding for my second time. The first time I used the Gorski helmet or hat, and then the second time I got to use the Kirby. They both have different welding shields. The Gorski is like a little bit bigger welding shield, and the Kirby looks awesome. It's like halfway, like only half of your viewport is like a little welding shield that folds down. To me it looks really badass. But anyways, during that week we also took a test for underwater welding and burning. And no, it wasn't a practical like physical test. It was just pen and paper multiple choice test on the subject of burning and welding. So we got that accomplished during that week. And basically that's, we took care of what we took care of for underwater welding, and then we moved on to week 15. And then during week 15, we started off that week in the classroom again, doing a lesson on offshore oil and mixed gas. And then the next day we took our tests on offshore oil and mixed gas. There were 2 separate tests, and basically offshore oil is anything you can think of that has to do with an offshore oil rig and the oil and the whole process of getting the oil and everything like that. And then mixed gas is all about gases, your nitrogen, oxygen, helium, and like when you don't go on the gases, and mixtures and all that type of stuff. So 2 separate tests that we took that week. And then we started talking about salvage, and we split off into teams. We had 3 teams that were all supposed to come up with our own salvage report. And on that report, you basically come up with your own company name, and like you come up with your own fake email and phone number, and then you come up with the procedure for doing your salvage operation and your itemized material list of what you're going to be using to do said salvage operation. And that all goes together in a report. So we basically put that together with using Word on the computers that they have available in the computer lab. So then we moved on to the next day, and the next day was Wednesday, and we started with team 1, and then Thursday we did team 2, and Friday we did team 3. And so each team had one day to basically raise a boat that had been sunk down to the bottom of the Trout River. And this boat was intentionally previously filled with concrete to make it heavy. I think it's supposed to be over 1,100 pounds is the what it's supposed to be weighing. So we all had the opportunity to get our team together to attach lift bags and barrels and fill them up with air and try to get it lifted off the bottom, and then basically up to the surface of the water so that we can start pumping out the remaining water that was inside. So that our goal was to get the inside of the boat dry so that we can all hop in it and then take a cool picture being like, hey, we did it, we're a good dive team and everything. But nobody was actually able to raise the boat. Previous classes have been able to, but we just couldn't get to it. Like the lines that we were using, and I know I'm coming up with excuses, but no, but for real, the lines that we were using, the small ones kept snapping, and then it's just, attaching the barrels in the right places. And then when you attach barrels on the side and then fill them with air, it kind of lifts the barrels up to the surface, but you need something under the boat. Once you get it off the bottom, you need something under it to push it higher than the water line so that you can pump it out. And also one barrel had a hole in it, so there's just so many problems that went wrong. I think that my group got the closest, but that's just my opinion. It's debatable, really, but that's just me. And my team was team 2, by the way. We went on Thursday, just to let you know. And then basically on Friday, after team 3 went, and after the end of the day, we actually stayed after school for about an hour and did a full review of the final exam because it was coming up the next week. That's how we finished up our Friday. We wanted to stay late and do a review just so we would be ready for it. So we, took that upon ourselves to do that. And then finally, we got week 16. We did our final exam. We got our dry suits issued to us, and I actually have a dry suit video where I put on the dry suit and I talk a little bit about it. And we finished our scuba skills in the water in the swimming pool that day. So we did 2 previous days where we did scuba skills, and that day, that first Monday of week 16, we basically finished that, closed the book on it by showing the instructors that we know how to do each skill, like the mask clearing and the regulator retrieval, and stuff like that. Then that Tuesday, we're doing employability skills with the career counselor administrator, and basically we're in a classroom talking about our resumes, talking about how to do the interview process, what to wear, where to go, how to talk to people, not just the person doing the interview, but the secretary who's going to be answering the phones for the commercial diving company, just anything and everything you can think of. I mean, I think we covered everything to a T that has to do with an interview process. It just, because we had all day to do it, so we covered everything. And then on Wednesday of that week, we got to get into the Hyperbaric Chamber and we got to get pressed down to about 60 feet of water, and basically we got put on a helium-oxygen mix. So it was 80% helium, 20% oxygen, and we got to have really squeaky, like Donald Duck voices is what they call it. I sung Old MacDonald because they told me to over the comms box, which was pretty fun. I had a good time. It's pretty funny to hear people talk on their squeaky voices. And then we had our 400-meter swim. Basically, we got all in our wetsuits, put on our fins, and we had to do like 2 laps from the dive station and to the railroad tracks, the bridge, and then back. And we had to do that twice. And then after that, we started doing the dive bell. So we had 2 divers at a time go into the dive bell. The dive bell lowered you to the bottom, and then you got to go out of the bell, walk around for a little bit. Once you got a feel for using a dive bell, you got to go back in it. They would pull you back up, and then it was two more divers' turn to go. So that was really cool, really fun experience. And then the next day we finished up the rest of the people, and then the last day of school at our main campus was basically getting all of our stuff ready to go to Ocala. So our dive gear we weren't using anymore, so they wanted us to load it into our vehicles. And then we did kind of like a brief orientation before we go to Ocala. We're gonna get like kind of another one once we get down there, but we kind of needed to know the address. We wanted to know like what were things to know when we show up down there and stuff like that. And then the last minute forms that we had to fill out were basically verify our contact information, if anything, like our emails or our phone numbers changed or whatever. And then we had to fill out an application for our DCBC certification last minute. And then we got our transcripts for the main campus. So every single grade that we have ever gotten at our main campus, we got a transcript for that, and we get to keep that, and it has our overall grade on it, so everybody knows what they got so far. So that's basically what the 4th month of commercial diving school is. We still have 1 month to go in Ocala, so if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned for that, because we have so much more to do, like deep water diving in our dry suits, and more dive bell, and more gas, heliox mixes, and diving on that. So definitely stay tuned for that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave any comments or questions for me in the comment section down below. Hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.